there's something about the Bitter Coast in Morrowind specifically that I just can't get enough of. It's one of those regions that I keep going back to just to walk around. I definitely didn't appreciate it enough as a kid. I'd probably just be sprinting through here, killing everything I saw to get to the next thing. But as an old man, it's good to just have a walk to the park every now and then. Anyway, there's a bit of a running joke between myself and a few of my friends that I've racked up quite a few great random encounters over my life, especially from adulthood onwards. I don't know what it is about me that makes me look approachable to strangers. I really don't. When I was younger, it maybe made a lot more sense. I had a big afro and generally wore pink Crocs and bright clothes. That screams approachability, even if you're approaching me just to call me a loser. My more recent look screams stay away from me, at least if you're mildly resistant to approaching a stranger. Bleach blonde hair, black nails, tattoos, a mean resting face, which living in Ohio has been a great deterrent overall. But it still happens, and that's fine. I'm not saying that being approached by random people bothers me. I generally don't mind it at all, especially since more times than not it's led to a lot of funny interactions. Pretty recently, a mall walker, an old guy who just spends his Sundays strolling about the mall in workout clothes, told me that they kept the radio and music on overnight in the mall when it was closed. He asked me if I thought that the mall ghosts came out at night and had dance parties when no living humans were there. That's awesome. Of course, I agreed. When I lived in Pittsburgh, another guy saw me coming out of a store with a 24 rack of adult beverages for a party. He had a skateboard and asked me if he could do a kickflip for a free drink. Easiest yes of my life. He tried like 5 times and fell twice on the ground, skid up his knee. He never landed it, but I still gave him one. He earned it. There's probably some soapbox somewhere, or even a few hundred, of people saying that sociability out in the world has gone out the window these days, and kids these days are only approaching strangers if they're recording a video on their phone to make content, maybe. That's not an argument I really care to make. It seems to me that it's still true that people are more than willing to go up to somebody and engage in a fun interaction if their gut tells them it's going to work out all right. I'm glad that whatever I've got going on, personality or appearance wise, keeps that happening, and I hope it keeps happening until I turn into a miserable, grouchy curmudgeon of an old man. Then people should probably stop approaching me, but for their own sake, not mine. When I was younger, I used to rag on people who wore a lot of band t shirts or only wore like video game t shirts or sweatshirts out in public or anywhere. But now I'm starting to understand the importance of it socially, I guess. It's good to know when you're out and about, essentially, who your people are, who the other people are in the room that like the same things that you do, and that you know you could go up and talk to about certain things that you have in common. I don't own a lot of band t shirts or sweatshirts or video game stuff, but for the first time in my life, I'm genuinely considering getting some. Not because I necessarily care about the merch or the materialism of it, but just the ability to say when I'm out in public, hey, I'm part of your tribe, you know? It's okay to come up and talk to me about that. To be fair to the soapbox people talking about people running up to you in public with their phone out, recording a video, using you as content, I can sympathize with that. I personally probably would be very uncomfortable if someone came up to me recording a video and asking me questions so that they could put it on their TikTok or Instagram. And I certainly understand if anyone else would be uncomfortable with that. If you're also someone who has a knack for people running up to you and doing crazy things, I definitely want to hear about it. Let me know. Or if you're a guy that is interested in going up to random people and making funny things happen, I definitely want to hear from you. I want to know what kind of person and personality that takes. I don't think I have it in me. I'm happy to be a reciprocant of the crazy interactions. I don't know if I'm crazy enough to make them happen on my own. If you're someone who's always thought about going up to someone because they were wearing a band shirt or a video game shirt that you recognized and wanted to compliment them on, I'd say give it a shot. I would also say, what's the worst that could happen? But frankly, there's a lot of crazy things that could happen. But don't. worry about that stuff. Just think of it as a possible positive encounter you could have with a person who likes the same stuff as you. I think life's too short not to be open to those kind of interactions. They've certainly made my life a lot better.